The History of Fragrance in Europe. Chapter 1. Aromatic Antiquity. The enchanting world of European fragrance has deep roots that stretch back through the annals of history, finding its earliest expressions in the ancient civilizations of Greece and Rome. These ancient cultures, with their rich tapestry of myths, rituals, and artistic sensibilities, laid the foundation for the art of perfumery that would eventually blossom into the intricate and sophisticated tradition we know today. Ancient Greece, the birthplace of perfumery. In ancient Greece, the art of perfumery was intricately woven into the fabric of daily life, religious ceremonies, and social customs. The Greeks were passionate about the olfactory experience, viewing fragrance as a potent element that could evoke emotions, honor the divine, and enhance personal allure. One of the key contributions of ancient Greece to perfumery was the development of the first liquid perfume. The word perfume itself finds its origins in the Latin term perfumum, meaning through smoke, a nod to the ancient practice of burning fragrant resins and herbs. However, it was in ancient Greece that the first liquid fragrances, known as oils or unguents, were introduced. These oils, typically derived from natural sources such as flowers, herbs, and spices, were blended with various carrier oils to create aromatic concoctions. The use of these fragrant oils became not only a cosmetic indulgence, but also a means of expressing social status and spiritual devotion. The famed Greek poet Sappho, known for her verses on love and beauty, even wrote about the allure of perfumes in her poetry, immortalizing the connection between scent and romance. As the Greek civilization flourished, so did the sophistication of their perfumery. The Greeks developed intricate extraction methods, including distillation and enfleurage, to capture the essence of fragrant botanicals. They also valued the art of blending, creating complex fragrance compositions that were highly prized. Religious ceremonies in ancient Greece were infused with the aromatic presence of incense and perfumed oils. Temples dedicated to gods and goddesses were adorned with fragrant offerings, and worshippers anointed themselves with perfumes as a symbolic act of purification and devotion. The use of fragrances extended to the athletic games as well, where participants anointed themselves with scented oils before competitions. Ancient Rome, a fragrant empire. The Roman Empire, inheriting much from Greek culture, embraced and expanded upon the art of perfumery. Rome's insatiable appetite for luxury and refinement manifested in an increased demand for exotic fragrances and intricate perfume rituals. The Romans elevated the use of perfumes to new heights, making it an integral part of their daily lives. Perfume became an essential accessory for both men and women in ancient Rome. It was not only applied to the body, but also infused in clothing and linens. The Roman elite reveled in the creation of personalized scents, often seeking out renowned perfumers to concoct fragrances that reflected their individual tastes and status. The trade routes of the Roman Empire facilitated the exchange of aromatic treasures from far-flung regions. Spices from the East, resins from Africa, and floral essences from the Mediterranean were among the ingredients that found their way into Roman perfumes. The Romans were particularly enamored with floral scents, and rose, jasmine, and violet became prized ingredients in their perfumery repertoire. One of the most significant contributions of ancient Rome to perfumery was the establishment of the first ever commercial perfumeries. These shops, known as unguentarii, offered an array of fragrant products, from solid perfumes and oils to scented powders. The popularity of these establishments signaled a cultural shift, as perfumery transitioned from a luxury reserved for the elite to a commodity accessible to a broader segment of society. Roman baths, renowned for their opulence and grandeur, became immersive experiences in fragrance. A visit to the baths involved not only cleansing the body, but also indulging in elaborate perfume rituals. Fragrant oils were applied to the skin, and aromatic balms were used to massage and pamper the body. The air in these bathhouses was redolent with the scent of various essences, creating an environment where indulgence of the senses was paramount. The Romans also had a penchant for scented hair oils and elaborate hairstyles adorned with fragrant flowers. Perfumed pomades and balms were applied not only for cosmetic purposes, but also as a means of masking any unpleasant odors, a reflection of the Roman obsession with cleanliness and personal grooming. The intricate glass-blowing techniques of the Romans allowed for the creation of exquisite perfume bottles and containers. These vessels, often adorned with intricate patterns and designs, became cherished possessions and were sometimes buried with the deceased as offerings for the afterlife. Legacy and transition into the Middle Ages. With the decline of the Roman Empire, the art of perfumery entered a period of transition during the Middle Ages. The spread of Christianity brought about changes in societal attitudes towards luxury and excess, and the use of perfumes became more subdued. However, the fragrant legacy of ancient Greece and Rome persisted, influencing the medieval approach to scent. In the Middle Ages, the use of perfumes became intertwined with religious practices. Churches and monasteries continued the tradition of using incense in ceremonies, and the creation of fragrant oils for anointing purposes persisted. Fragrance also played a role in masking the often overpowering scents of the time, where personal hygiene was not a prevalent cultural norm. The Crusades during the medieval period facilitated the reintroduction of exotic aromatic materials to Europe. Returning crusaders brought back treasures from the East, including rare spices, resins, and aromatic woods. These ingredients fueled a resurgence of interest in perfumery, and the demand for fragrances began to rise once again. As Europe transitioned into the Renaissance, a revival of arts and culture brought with it a renewed appreciation for the luxurious and the beautiful. The courts of Renaissance Europe became centers of refined sensibilities, and the use of perfumes experienced a resurgence. The Italian city-states, in particular, became hubs of perfumery. The ancient civilizations of Greece and Rome wove the aromatic tapestry of their cultures with fragrances, integrating them seamlessly into religious ceremonies, daily life, and as symbols of status and luxury. In these bygone eras, scent was not merely a sensory delight. It held profound symbolic significance, serving as a conduit to the divine, an expression of personal identity, and a testament to one's social standing. Religious ceremonies. In both ancient Greece and Rome, fragrances played a pivotal role in religious ceremonies, where the olfactory experience was intricately linked to the sacred. Temples dedicated to various gods and goddesses were adorned with fragrant offerings, creating an ambience that transcended the material realm and invoked a sense of the divine. Incense, a key element in religious rituals, was burnt as an offering to the gods. The fragrant smoke that rose from these incense offerings was believed to carry prayers and blessings to the heavens. Myrrh, frankincense, and other aromatic resins were commonly used in these rituals, their rich and exotic scents symbolizing purity, spirituality, and a connection to the divine. In ancient Greece, the use of fragrances extended to religious processions and festivals. Worshippers anointed themselves with perfumed oils as a symbolic act of purification before entering sacred spaces. The olfactory element in these rituals was not only a means of honoring the gods, but also a way to create a sensory atmosphere that enhanced the spiritual experience. The oracle at Delphi, a revered sanctuary in ancient Greece, was enveloped in the fragrance of laurel leaves, herbs, and other aromatic offerings. Pilgrims believed that the scent in the air held oracular powers, serving as a medium through which the divine messages were channeled. Fragrance, in this context, became a conduit for spiritual revelation and divine communication. In ancient Rome, the use of perfumes in religious ceremonies reached a pinnacle of opulence. The Roman elite spared no expense in adorning temples with fragrant offerings. Incense became a symbol of imperial grandeur, with emperors and high-ranking officials presenting elaborate incense burners during religious processions. The Vestal Virgins, priestesses in ancient Rome, played a significant role in the religious rituals of the time. These priestesses were known to use fragrant oils and balms in their daily rituals, contributing to the olfactory ambience of sacred spaces. The concept of purity and divine connection was reinforced through the use of carefully selected and blended fragrances. Daily life. In the daily lives of ancient Greeks and Romans, fragrances were not reserved for religious occasions alone. They permeated every aspect of daily life, becoming an integral part of personal grooming, social interactions, and domestic spaces. Perfumed oils, often derived from natural sources like flowers, herbs, and spices, were applied to the body after bathing. This daily anointing was not merely a cosmetic practice. It was a sensorial indulgence that enhanced personal allure and contributed to a sense of well-being. Scented oils were also used as hair perfumes, imparting a fragrant aroma to the hair. The Roman baths, renowned for their grandeur, were immersive experiences in fragrance. Bathing rituals involved the use of scented oils, aromatic balms, and fragrant powders. The air in these bathhouses was infused with the scents of various essences, creating an environment where the cleansing of the body was intertwined with the indulgence of the senses. Perfumed pomades and balms were applied not only for cosmetic purposes, but also as a means of masking any unpleasant odors. In a time when personal hygiene practices were not as advanced as today, fragrances served a dual purpose of cleanliness and aesthetic enhancement. The use of fragrances extended to clothing and linens. Roman aristocrats would scent their garments and bed linens with aromatic oils and powders, creating an environment that was both luxurious and redolent with fragrance. The concept of scented garments was not only a symbol of refinement, but also a practical measure in a time when frequent washing of clothing was not as common. Symbols of status and luxury. Fragrances in ancient Greece and Rome were potent symbols of status and luxury, markers of social standing and refinement. The possession and use of rare and exotic perfumes became a way for individuals to showcase their wealth, taste, and sophistication. In ancient Greece, the art of perfumery was a luxury reserved for the elite. The upper echelons of society indulged in personalized fragrances, often seeking out renowned perfumers to create bespoke scents. The fragrance one wore became a distinctive mark of individuality and status, setting the elite apart from the masses. The use of rare and costly ingredients in perfumes became a status symbol. Spices and resins from distant lands, such as myrrh and frankincense, were highly prized for their exoticism and were often associated with royalty. The costliness of these ingredients contributed to the exclusivity of the fragrances that contained them. In ancient Rome, the demand for perfumes soared, and commercial perfumeries known as unguentari emerged. These establishments catered to a broader segment of society, offering an array of fragrant products from solid perfumes and oils to scented powders. While accessible to a wider audience, perfumes remained a luxury, and the possession of finely crafted scents continued to be a statement of affluence. Luxury in Roman perfumery was not confined to personal use. It extended to the home as well. Lavish fragrances were used to scent living spaces, creating an ambience of opulence. Scented oils were applied to furnishings, and fragrant balms adorned the interiors of aristocratic residences. The use of aromatic materials as gifts further emphasized their luxurious connotations. Exquisite perfume bottles, crafted from intricate glass-blowing techniques, became cherished possessions and were often exchanged as tokens of esteem. The act of gifting perfumes was not just an offering of a pleasant scent, but a demonstration of wealth and appreciation. In conclusion, fragrances in ancient Greece and Rome transcended the boundaries of mere sensory indulgence. They became woven into the very fabric of societal practices, religious rituals, and expressions of opulence and refinement. The aromatic legacies of these ancient civilizations continue to influence contemporary perfumery, serving as a testament to the enduring allure and cultural significance of scents through the ages. In the ancient tapestry of European history, the secrets of perfumery unfolded as an aromatic dance with nature. The botanical sources that captivated the senses of ancient Europeans were not merely ingredients. They were alchemical treasures, carefully extracted and blended to create fragrances that adorned both body and soul. Let's embark on a journey through the secrets of ancient perfumery, exploring the botanical wonders that enchanted the olfactory senses of bygone civilizations. Rose, the queen of flowers. In the realm of ancient perfumery, the rose reigned supreme as the queen of flowers. Revered for its exquisite scent and delicate petals, the rose held a special place in the hearts and gardens of ancient Europeans. Various species, including the damask rose and centifolia rose, were cultivated for their aromatic richness. Rose petals were used to create precious rose oils and waters through distillation. The Damascus rose, believed to have originated in ancient Persia, found its way into the gardens of Europe, becoming a symbol of romance and luxury. The process of enfleurage, where rose petals were pressed into fats to extract their essence, was also employed to capture the intoxicating aroma of this regal flower. The allure of rose extended beyond its fragrance. It was also associated with love, beauty, and sacred rituals. In ancient Greece, the rose was dedicated to Aphrodite, the goddess of love, and adorned her temples during religious ceremonies. The Romans, too, embraced the rose for its symbolic resonance, using it in lavish feasts, perfumed baths, and as a gesture of affection. Lavender, the scent of purity. Lavender, with its aromatic spikes of violet blue flowers, graced the landscapes of ancient Europe, infusing the air with a scent that spoke of purity and serenity. Lavender's essential oil, extracted through steam distillation, was highly prized for its calming and antiseptic properties. Ancient cultures, including the Greeks and Romans, valued lavender not only for its fragrance, but also for its medicinal and aromatic qualities. Lavender was used to scent linens, bath water, and personal spaces, providing a sense of cleanliness and tranquility. The Romans, in particular, utilized lavender in their famous public baths, creating an ambience of relaxation and well-being. The use of lavender extended to religious rituals as well. In medieval Christian traditions, lavender was associated with the Virgin Mary and was used to create scented sachets and floral arrangements in her honor. The soothing and uplifting fragrance of lavender became synonymous with notions of purity and grace. Frankincense and myrrh, aromatic resins of reverence. Frankincense and myrrh, ancient resins derived from the boswellia and commiphora trees, respectively, were treasures of great reverence in the ancient world. These aromatic resins, harvested through the skillful tapping of the trees, produced fragrant tears that captivated the senses with their complex and mystical aromas. Both frankincense and myrrh were integral to religious ceremonies, symbolizing purification, spirituality, and divine connection. In ancient Greece, frankincense was associated with the god Apollo, and its use in religious rituals was widespread. The Romans, too, valued these resins, using them in religious ceremonies, public events, and even in the embalming process. The biblical narrative of the three wise men presenting gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh to the infant Jesus underscores the preciousness of these resins. Their inclusion in this symbolic offering reflects their status as valuable commodities that transcended cultural and geographical boundaries. Sandalwood, the sacred wood. Sandalwood, with its warm and creamy aroma, held sacred significance in ancient perfumery. The heartwood of the santalum tree was used to create fragrant oils and pastes that were prized for their long-lasting and soothing scent. The use of sandalwood in perfumery dates back to ancient Indian and Chinese civilizations, and its popularity extended to Europe through trade routes. Sandalwood became associated with religious rituals, meditation practices, and the creation of sacred spaces. In the Christian tradition, sandalwood was used to create incense blends, infusing churches with a fragrance that invoked a sense of reverence and tranquility. Spices, exotic fragrances of the East. The spice trade routes that connected Europe with the East brought a treasure trove of exotic aromatics to the ancient perfumer's palate. Spices like cinnamon, cardamom, nutmeg, and ginger added depth, warmth, and complexity to fragrances, transforming them into sensory symphonies that delighted the senses. Cinnamon, derived from the inner bark of the cinnamomum tree, imparted a sweet and spicy warmth to perfumes. It was valued not only for its fragrance, but also for its perceived aphrodisiac properties. In ancient Rome, cinnamon was a symbol of opulence and was used in perfumes, cosmetics, and even as a luxury gift. Cardamom, with its complex and slightly spicy aroma, found its way into ancient perfumery as a coveted ingredient. It was associated with luxury and sophistication, often used in perfumed oils and incense blends. Cardamom's inclusion in fragrances added an exotic twist, evoking the allure of distant lands. Nutmeg, harvested from the seed of the Myristica fragrans tree, contributed a rich and slightly sweet fragrance to perfumes. In ancient Europe, nutmeg was a prized spice that adorned the tables of the elite. Its use in perfumery added a touch of sophistication and mystery to fragrance compositions. Ginger, with its warm and spicy character, was valued for its invigorating and uplifting qualities. In addition to its culinary uses, ginger was incorporated into perfumes, creating fragrances that were both energizing and exotic. Violet, the modest yet enchanting bloom. In the gardens of ancient Europe, violets bloomed with modesty yet carried an enchanting fragrance that captivated hearts. Violet flowers were used to create fragrant infusions, capturing the delicate and powdery aroma that characterized these petite blossoms. The ancient Greeks and Romans admired violets not only for their fragrance, but also for their symbolism. Violets were associated with love, humility. Chapter 2: Medieval Essences. In the tapestry of European history, The Middle Ages unfolded as a period of transformation and innovation, marking a pivotal era where fragrances took on new significance. Amidst the tapestry of medieval life, the aromatic realm became an essential and intricate part of societal practices, influencing not only personal grooming, but also religious rituals, healthcare, and the concept of luxury. Let's delve into the olfactory landscape of the Middle Ages, where fragrances played a multifaceted role in shaping the sensory experiences of the time. Aromatic gardens and monastic wisdom. In medieval Europe, the cultivation of aromatic plants gained prominence, giving rise to specialized gardens known as physic gardens or gardens of simples. These gardens were meticulously tended by monks and herbalists who recognized the therapeutic and aromatic properties of various plants. Fragrant herbs and flowers such as lavender, rosemary, thyme, and roses were cultivated not only for their pleasing scents, but also for their medicinal virtues. Monasteries, with their extensive knowledge of herbs and botanicals, became centers of herbalism and perfumery. Monastic gardens were cultivated with a purpose beyond mere aesthetics. They were repositories of wisdom, where the healing properties of plants were studied and harnessed. The aromatic bounty of these gardens contributed to the development of herbal remedies, potpourris, and infused oils that played a vital role in healthcare and personal well-being. Religious rituals and incense. Religious ceremonies in the Middle Ages were infused with the sacred and mysterious sense of incense. The use of incense, particularly frankincense and myrrh, became an integral part of Christian worship. Churches, cathedrals, and monastic spaces were filled with billowing clouds of fragrant smoke, creating an ethereal atmosphere that elevated the spiritual experience. Incense, with its ritualistic and symbolic significance, was employed in various religious practices. The sensing of sacred spaces, the veneration of relics, and the celebration of Mass were accompanied by the sweet and resinous aroma of burning incense. The use of incense in religious settings not only sanctified the space, but also appealed to the senses, enhancing the sensory engagement of worshippers. The censer, a vessel designed for burning incense, became a ceremonial object of great importance. Its swinging motion during religious rituals dispersed fragrant smoke throughout the sacred space, creating a sensory journey that engaged both sight and smell. The use of incense in religious contexts during the Middle Ages reflected a deep understanding of the transformative power of fragrance in shaping spiritual experiences. Personal grooming and scented elegance. In the medieval aristocracy, personal grooming took on a new dimension as fragrances became an essential component of daily life. The elite class, including nobles and royalty, sought to distinguish themselves through the art of perfumery. The use of scented oils, pomades, and balms became synonymous with refinement and elegance. Perfumed gloves, a fashionable accessory among the nobility, exemplified the intersection of personal grooming and luxury. These gloves were infused with fragrant essences and oils, transforming them into scented ornaments that not only adorned the hands, but also enveloped the wearer in a cloud of fragrance. The concept of scented fashion was born, aligning personal style with olfactory allure. Scented pomanders, ornamental balls filled with fragrant substances, were another popular accessory. Hung from belts or worn as jewelry, these fragrant orbs served both practical and aesthetic purposes. In addition to masking unpleasant odors, they reflected the wearer's appreciation for luxury and sensory indulgence. The alchemy of distillation. The Middle Ages witnessed significant advancements in the art of distillation, a transformative alchemical process that became a cornerstone of perfume making. The distillation apparatus, including alembics and retorts, allowed perfumers to extract essential oils from aromatic materials more efficiently. This innovation revolutionized the production of perfumes, enabling the creation of more concentrated and complex fragrances. Rose water, an exquisite distillation of rose petals, became a prized ingredient in medieval perfumery. Distillations of other botanicals, including herbs and spices, added new dimensions to fragrance compositions. The alchemical pursuit of capturing the soul of botanicals in concentrated form elevated the art of perfumery, and distillation emerged as a key technique that would shape the future of fragrance creation. Health and the miasma theory. In the medieval understanding of health and disease, fragrances played a crucial role, influenced by the prevailing miasma theory. This theory, rooted in the belief that diseases were caused by noxious vapors or miasmas, led to the widespread use of fragrances as a means of protecting oneself from perceived harm. Aromatic substances were believed to purify the air and ward off malevolent influences. Potpourris, sachets, and scented pomanders were carried by individuals to counteract foul odors and potential sources of contagion. The use of fragrances as a form of prophylaxis reflected a complex interplay between olfactory perceptions and the medieval understanding of health. Spices and the spice trade. The Middle Ages were marked by the flourishing spice trade, bringing exotic aromatics from the East to European shores. Spices such as cinnamon, cardamom, and nutmeg became highly coveted commodities, not only for their culinary uses, but also for their aromatic richness. The inclusion of spices in perfume. The pages of history tell a captivating tale of cultural exchange and aromatic allure, as the Arab world left an indelible mark on European perfumery during the Crusades. This tumultuous period of medieval history, marked by religious fervor and military expeditions, also became a conduit for the exchange of knowledge, luxury goods, and notably, exotic spices and aromatic ingredients. As the Crusaders ventured into the lands of the Levant, they were introduced to a treasure trove of fragrances that would profoundly influence the olfactory landscape of Europe. The spice routes and aromatic treasures. The Arab world, with its rich cultural heritage and flourishing trade networks, held the keys to a sensory treasure trove that beckoned the European Crusaders. The spice routes, winding through the Middle East and connecting to the Silk Road, were conduits for the exchange of exotic spices, resins, and aromatic substances. As the Crusaders ventured into these distant lands, they encountered an olfactory paradise that would forever alter the aromatic tapestry of Europe. Exotic spices such as cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, and cloves, which were staples in Arab perfumery and cuisine, captured the imagination of the Crusaders. These aromatic treasures, previously unknown in Europe, unveiled a new world of possibilities for perfumers and alchemists. The fragrant allure of these spices transcended their culinary uses, inspiring the creation of luxurious perfumes that would become emblematic of wealth and sophistication. Distillation and the art of perfumery. One of the transformative gifts that the Arab world bestowed upon European perfumery during the Crusades was the art of distillation. The ingenious process of distillation, perfected by Arab alchemists, allowed for the extraction of essential oils from aromatic materials with unprecedented precision. This innovation revolutionized the perfume-making process, enabling perfumers to create more concentrated and refined fragrances. The distillation apparatus, known as alembic, became a prized possession for European perfumers eager to unlock the secrets of Arab perfumery. Through this alchemical process, the aromatic essences of flowers, herbs, and spices could be captured in their purest form. The distillation technique not only enhanced the longevity and potency of fragrances, but also expanded the repertoire of available scents, contributing to the diversification of European perfumery. Oriental influences and oud. As the Crusaders navigated the realms of the Arab world, they were introduced to a precious ingredient that would leave an enduring imprint on European perfumery. Oud. Derived from the resinous heartwood of the agarwood tree, oud was a scent so captivating and rare that it became synonymous with luxury and exclusivity. Arab perfumers had long revered oud for its complex, woody, and slightly smoky aroma, considering it a treasure of olfactory opulence. Oud's introduction to Europe during the Crusades sparked a fascination that endured through the centuries. European perfumers, inspired by the Oriental allure of oud, sought to incorporate this mystical ingredient into their compositions. Oud became a symbol of sophistication and status, adorning the courtly perfumes of the European elite. Its distinct and enigmatic scent added a layer of complexity to fragrances, marking a departure from the more straightforward herbal and floral aromas that had dominated European perfumery. Rose and jasmine gardens. In the Arab world, the cultivation of roses and jasmine for perfumery had reached unparalleled heights of sophistication. Arab gardens were adorned with these fragrant blossoms, creating olfactory paradises that captivated the senses. During the Crusades, the European Crusaders were introduced to the mesmerizing beauty and aromatic richness of these floral treasures. Damask roses, renowned for their exquisite fragrance, found a special place in Arab perfumery. The distillation of rose petals produced the precious rose oil, a coveted ingredient that would become synonymous with luxury and romance. The Crusaders, enraptured by the delicate scent of damask roses, carried the knowledge of their cultivation and distillation back to Europe, where roses would come to be revered in both perfumery and horticulture. Jasmine, with its heady and intoxicating aroma, also became a cherished component of Arab perfumery. The distillation of jasmine blossoms yielded an essential oil that was valued for its sweet and floral notes. The Crusaders, enamored by the allure of jasmine-scented gardens, contributed to the spread of jasmine cultivation in Europe. The introduction of these floral essences profoundly influenced European perfumery, inspiring the creation of iconic fragrances that celebrated the beauty of blossoms. Ambergris and musk. The Arab world introduced Europe to two rare and enigmatic ingredients, ambergris and musk, that would become prized additions to the perfumer's palette. Ambergris, a waxy substance produced in the digestive systems of sperm whales, exuded a complex and alluring scent that matured over time. Arab perfumers had long utilized ambergris as a fixative, enhancing the longevity and depth of fragrances. Musk, extracted from the scent glands of musk deer, possessed a uniquely animalic and sensual quality. Arab perfumers incorporated musk into their compositions to add a touch of warmth and sensuality. Both ambergris and musk, with their rare and captivating aromas, became symbols of opulence and refinement, transforming European perfumery into a realm of olfactory luxury. Trade routes and cultural exchange. The Crusades not only facilitated the physical movement of people, but also sparked a vibrant exchange of ideas, knowledge, and cultural practices. The trade routes that connected the Arab world with Europe became conduits for the transfer of aromatic treasures, botanical wisdom, and perfumery techniques. Arab perfumers, revered for their mastery of the olfactory arts, shared their expertise with European alchemists and apothecaries. The knowledge of distillation, the art of blending fragrances, and the use of rare ingredients were transmitted across cultural boundaries, enriching the tapestry of European perfumery. Legacy and ongoing influence. The influence of the Arab world on European perfumery. In the annals of history, the rise of apothecaries emerged as a pivotal chapter that not only shaped the trajectory of healthcare, but also laid the foundation for the intricate art of perfumery. The apothecaries, often regarded as the forebears of modern pharmacists, were alchemists of healing, blending medicinal herbs, spices, and aromatic substances to craft concoctions that transcended the boundaries between medicine and fragrance. Their journey through the medieval and Renaissance periods paved the way for the later development of perfumery, as the alchemical arts of the apothecaries evolved into the delicate symphony of scents that would enchant the senses in the centuries to come. The roots of apothecaries can be traced back to ancient civilizations where healers, often spiritual and revered figures, concocted remedies from botanicals and minerals. However, it was during the Middle Ages that the apothecary profession emerged as a distinct and regulated practice in Europe. The term apothecary itself finds its origins in the Latin word apotheca, meaning a storehouse or repository. Apothecaries were established as crucial figures in the medieval healthcare landscape. Their knowledge was a blend of herbal lore, alchemical principles, and empirical observations. Apothecaries worked not only to alleviate physical ailments, but also to address the holistic well-being of individuals. Their apothecary shops, adorned with mortars and pestles, vials of colorful liquids, and the heady aroma of botanicals, became hubs of healing and discovery. Herbalism and medicinal blends. Central to the practice of apothecaries was the profound knowledge of herbs and their medicinal properties. The apothecaries drew upon the herbal traditions of ancient civilizations, incorporating wisdom from Greek, Roman, Arab, and other herbalist legacies. The vast herbal compendiums of the time, such as De Materia Medica by Dioscorides, served as invaluable references for the apothecaries in their quest to understand and harness the healing powers of plants. Apothecaries meticulously cultivated herb gardens, ensuring a ready supply of medicinal plants. These gardens were a living laboratory where the apothecaries could observe, experiment, and cultivate the plants essential to their craft. Common herbs like chamomile, lavender, rosemary, and thyme, each celebrated for its distinct medicinal properties, found a prominent place in apothecary inventories. The apothecaries employed various methods to extract and preserve the medicinal virtues of herbs. Infusions, decoctions, and macerations were common techniques used to draw out the active compounds. As they honed their skills, apothecaries began to recognize the aromatic allure of certain herbs, leading them to experiment with fragrant botanicals in their medicinal blends. Aromatics and alchemy. A key transformative element in the evolution of apothecaries into perfumers was the infusion of alchemical principles into their practice. Alchemy, with its roots in mystical traditions and a quest for transformation, provided a philosophical framework that resonated with the endeavors of the apothecaries. The alchemists sought not only to heal the body, but also to explore the transformative properties of substances. In the pursuit of alchemical wisdom, the apothecaries delved into the art of distillation, a technique they inherited from the Arab world during the Crusades. Distillation, with its ability to capture the volatile essences of plants, marked a turning point in the apothecaries' approach to aromatic substances. The distillation process enabled the extraction of essential oils, the concentrated aromatic elixirs that would become the building blocks of perfumery. The aromatic transformation of apothecaries' practices was further fueled by the inclusion of exotic spices and resins from the East, brought back by crusaders returning from their expeditions. Spices such as cinnamon, cardamom, and ginger, along with resins like frankincense and myrrh, introduced novel olfactory dimensions to the apothecaries' repertoire. These aromatic treasures, once reserved for medicinal purposes, began to find their way into blends designed not only for healing, but also for sensory pleasure. Apothecaries as perfumers. The alchemical intersection of healing and fragrance reached its zenith as apothecaries began to consciously explore the art of perfumery. The apothecary shops, with their shelves adorned with an array of aromatic elixirs, became places where the distinction between medicine and fragrance blurred. The transition from healer to perfumer was a natural evolution, as the apothecaries recognized the profound impact of fragrance on both physical and mental well-being. Apothecaries began to craft scented waters, tinctures, and balms not only for their medicinal properties, but also for their ability to uplift the spirits and enhance personal grooming. Lavender water, distilled from lavender blossoms, became a popular apothecary creation, celebrated for its soothing aroma and versatility. Rose water, extracted from roses, adorned both medicinal concoctions and fragrant sachets. The Renaissance period, with its revival of arts and sciences, provided a fertile ground for the blossoming of perfumery within the apothecary tradition. The apothecaries of this era, often polymaths versed in various disciplines, expanded their aromatic repertoire to include more sophisticated blends. The practice of blending essential oils to create complex fragrances became a hallmark of Renaissance apothecaries, paving the way for the art of perfumery as a distinct discipline. From apothecary to perfumer guilds. As the demand for fragrances grew, the apothecaries found themselves at the crossroads of tradition and innovation. The 17th century witnessed the emergence of perfumer guilds in Europe, signifying the formal recognition of perfumery. Chapter 3: Renaissance Aromas. The Renaissance, a period of profound cultural, artistic, and intellectual revival, ushered in a transformative era that not only redefined the arts and sciences, but also witnessed the rebirth of fragrance as a potent expression of luxury, sophistication, and personal identity. As Europe emerged from the shadows of the Middle Ages, the journey of fragrances unfolded from the exclusive realms of courtly palaces to the vibrant streets of burgeoning cities, weaving a scented tapestry that mirrored the flourishing creativity of the time. The Renaissance and cultural revival. The Renaissance, spanning roughly from the 14th to the 17th century, marked a seismic shift in European history. Emerging from the gloom of medieval times, this period witnessed a rekindling of interest in classical knowledge, philosophy, and the arts. It was characterized by a fervent pursuit of intellectual enlightenment, humanism, and the revival of ancient Greco-Roman ideals. The courts of Renaissance Europe, particularly those in Italy, became epicenters of cultural patronage and artistic innovation. Monarchs, nobles, and affluent merchants cultivated an environment that celebrated creativity, intellect, and aesthetic refinement. The revival of classical learning ignited a passion for beauty, knowledge, and self-expression, setting the stage for a renaissance in the olfactory arts. Apothecaries and perfumers in Renaissance courts. As the Renaissance unfolded, the role of apothecaries evolved, transforming them into purveyors of not only healing elixirs, but also exquisite fragrances. Renaissance apothecaries, often polymaths first in alchemy, medicine, and the arts, took center stage in the courts of Europe. They were not only healers, but also connoisseurs of the olfactory arts, creating fragrant compositions that adorned the courtly elite. The apothecary shops in Renaissance courts resembled alchemical ateliers, filled with an array of botanicals, exotic spices, and distillation apparatus. The blending of medicinal remedies with fragrant elixirs became a hallmark of Renaissance apothecaries, reflecting a harmonious marriage of the healing and aesthetic aspects of aromatics. The influence of Italy. Italy, often considered the birthplace of the Renaissance, played a pivotal role in shaping the olfactory landscape of the time. The Medici family, influential patrons of the arts and sciences, were renowned for their opulent court in Florence. The Medici court became a melting pot of creativity, attracting artists, scientists, and, significantly, perfumers. Florence, in particular, emerged as a hub of perfumery during the Renaissance. The city's streets were lined with apothecary shops and perfumeries, where skilled artisans concocted fragrances that captured the essence of the burgeoning cultural revival. The Medicis, with their penchant for luxury and refinement, were avid patrons of these perfumers, contributing to the elevation of fragrance to an art form. Innovation in perfumery. The Renaissance witnessed a surge of innovation in perfumery, driven by a desire to create unique and complex fragrances. Distillation techniques, inherited from Arab alchemists, were refined and perfected by Renaissance perfumers. This advancement allowed for the extraction of essential oils with greater precision, enabling the creation of more intricate and concentrated scents. Perfumers began to experiment with a broader range of aromatic ingredients, including rare and exotic botanicals, resins, and spices. The blending of multiple essences gave rise to complex fragrance compositions, adding layers of sophistication to courtly perfumes. Renaissance perfumers were no longer confined to the traditional aromatic repertoire. They embraced novelty and exploration, crafting scents that mirrored the spirit of cultural rebirth. Courtly perfumes. In the courts of Renaissance Europe, fragrances became an essential element of courtly etiquette and self-presentation. Perfumes were not merely indulgences for personal pleasure. They were symbols of status, refinement, and social identity. Nobles and aristocrats would adorn themselves with carefully crafted fragrances, creating a scented aura that bespoke their wealth and taste. The court of Elizabeth I in England, for example, was known for its passion for perfumes. The Queen herself was a connoisseur of fragrances, and the courtiers followed suit. Lavish gifts of scented gloves, handkerchiefs, and perfume jewels became tokens of esteem, exchanged among the elite as expressions of admiration and sophistication. Scented gloves and pomanders. One of the notable trends in Renaissance courtly perfumery was the use of scented gloves. Gloves, often made of fine leather, were infused with fragrant oils and essences, creating a luxurious accessory that served both functional and ornamental purposes. Scented gloves became a symbol of elegance and refinement, worn by the aristocracy as a statement of their sophistication. Pomanders, ornamental balls filled with fragrant substances, also gained popularity during the Renaissance. Hung from belts or worn as jewelry, these fragrant orbs were both fashionable accessories and practical tools for masking unpleasant odors. The pomander's aromatic allure added a touch of extravagance to courtly fashion, contributing to the sensory opulence of the time. The streets of burgeoning cities. As the Renaissance unfolded, the cultural vibrancy that permeated courtly life began to trickle down to the streets of burgeoning cities. The growth of trade, commerce, and urban centers facilitated the democratization of fragrance, making scented concoctions more accessible to a wider population. Apothecaries, once exclusive to the courts, set up shop in city squares, catering to a burgeoning middle class eager to partake in the olfactory delights of the Renaissance. The streets of cities like Florence, Paris, and London became infused with the aromas of perfumed oils, herbal sachets, and scented. In the vast tapestry of history, the blossoming trade routes that interconnected distant lands played a pivotal role in shaping cultures, economies, and, notably, the world of perfumery. The journey of exotic ingredients, such as spices, flowers, and resins, from far-flung corners of the globe to the heart of Europe, marked an era of olfactory exploration and enrichment. As trade routes flourished, the perfumer's palette expanded, giving rise to fragrances that echoed the diversity and allure of the world's botanical treasures. The spice routes. The spice routes, often synonymous with the maritime endeavours of explorers and merchants, were conduits of aromatic wonders that captivated European senses. Spices, with their exotic flavours and fragrances, became highly coveted commodities that inspired voyages of discovery and trade expansion. One of the most illustrious spice routes connected the East Indies, present-day Indonesia, Malaysia, and surrounding regions with Europe. Aromatic treasures like cinnamon, cardamom, nutmeg, and cloves traversed vast oceans and continents, arriving in European ports laden with the scents of distant lands. Cinnamon, derived from the inner bark of the cinnamomum tree, added a sweet and spicy warmth to perfumes. Its journey from the Spice Islands to Europe contributed to the evolution of fragrance compositions, infusing them with the exotic allure of the East. The aromatic richness of cardamom, with its complex and slightly spicy character, also found its way into perfumery, adding an element of sophistication and intrigue. Nutmeg, harvested from the seed of the Myristica fragrans tree, contributed a rich and slightly sweet fragrance to perfumes. As it made its way from the Moluccas to European markets, nutmeg became a prized aromatic ingredient that elevated the olfactory profiles of fragrances. Cloves, derived from the aromatic flower buds of the Syzygium aromaticum tree, brought a warm and spicy aroma to European perfumery. The inclusion of cloves in fragrance compositions added depth and complexity, transforming scents into sensory symphonies that unfolded on the skin. Floral odysseys. While spices embarked on maritime adventures, floral essences embarked on their own odysseys across continents, bringing the captivating scents of flowers to European perfumers. The rose, often hailed as the queen of flowers, holds a special place in the pantheon of aromatic treasures that grace trade routes. Damask roses, renowned for their exquisite fragrance, began their journey from the Middle East, particularly Persia, to Europe. The damask rose, with its heady and sweet aroma, enchanted perfumers and became a symbol of romance and luxury. The fragrant essence extracted from rose petals, whether through distillation or enfleurage, added a layer of opulence to European perfumery. Jasmine, another floral gem, embarked on a journey from its native regions in Asia to European shores. The aromatic blossoms of jasmine, with their intoxicating and slightly indolic scent, found favour among perfumers. The distillation of jasmine flowers yielded an essential oil that contributed to the creation of fragrances that were both sensual and alluring. Tuberose, with its rich and narcotic fragrance, also joined the floral odyssey from its native Mexico to European markets. The tuberose's journey enriched the perfumer's palate with its heady and sweet aroma, becoming a sought-after ingredient in perfumery. Resin trails. Resins, with their deep and lingering scents, followed ancient trade routes, leaving fragrant trails that enchanted the senses. Frankincense and myrrh, prized for their aromatic and spiritual significance, embarked on journeys from the Arabian Peninsula to Europe, becoming staples in the perfumer's repertoire. Frankincense, derived from the resin of the Boswellia tree, brought a complex and resinous fragrance to European perfumery. The aromatic smoke of burning frankincense had been used in religious ceremonies for centuries, and its inclusion in perfumes added a mystical and spiritual dimension to fragrances. Myrrh, sourced from the Commiphora tree, contributed a warm and balsamic scent to perfumes. With its rich history in religious rituals and healing practices, myrrh became an aromatic gem that connected cultures and continents. The trade of frankincense and myrrh along ancient routes not only enriched European perfumery, but also fostered cultural exchanges that transcended geographical boundaries. Ambergris and the sea's gift. Ambergris, a mysterious and highly prized substance, added a touch of the sea's allure to the perfumer's palate. Formed in the digestive systems of sperm whales, ambergris was ejected into the ocean, where it would undergo a transformative journey before washing ashore. The scent of ambergris, often described as complex, sweet, and animalic, made it a sought-after fixative in perfumery. Ambergris, with its connection to the sea, became a symbol of mystery and luxury, and its inclusion in fragrances added a unique and enduring quality to scent compositions. The Renaissance and Fragrance Renaissance. The Renaissance, with its spirit of exploration and cultural awakening, provided a fertile ground for the flourishing fragrance trade. As trade routes thrived, the courts of Europe became veritable treasure troves of aromatic riches, with perfumers vying to create scents that reflected the opulence and diversity of the traded ingredients. The Medicis in Florence, the courts of Elizabeth I in England, and the courts of France under Louis XIV were among the prominent patrons of perfumery during the Renaissance. Perfumers crafted bespoke fragrances for the elite, drawing inspiration from the exotic ingredients brought by the expanding trade routes. The rise of perfume guilds. The growing demand for exotic ingredients and fragrances led to the establishment of perfumer guilds in major European cities. These guilds played a crucial role in regulating and elevating the art of perfumery. Perfumers within these guilds shared knowledge, exchanged techniques, and collaborated on creating distinctive fragrances. The Renaissance, with its resurgence of arts, sciences, and cultural refinement, witnessed the emergence of influential figures who not only embraced perfumes, but also played pivotal roles in popularizing and shaping the art of fragrance. These figures, hailing from the realms of royalty, nobility, and the arts, became iconic patrons and trendsetters who left an indelible mark on the olfactory landscape of the time. Let's delve into the lives of some of these famous figures who contributed to the flourishing of perfumes during the Renaissance era. Catherine de' Medici. Catherine de' Medici, a member of the powerful Medici family and Queen of France through her marriage to King Henry II, is renowned for her significant influence on the world of perfumery. Born in Florence, Italy, Catherine brought her love for fragrance to the French court when she married Henry II in 1533. Catherine de' Medici was an avid patron of perfumers and played a crucial role in popularizing the use of perfumes in the French court. She established the first ever perfume court at the Château Fontainebleau, where perfumers crafted exclusive fragrances for her and the courtiers. Catherine's patronage contributed to the rise of perfumery in France, making it an integral part of courtly rituals and personal grooming. The Italian-born queen is credited with introducing several fragrance innovations to the French court, including the use of scented gloves. These gloves, infused with fragrant essences, became a symbol of elegance and sophistication. Catherine's legacy as a perfumery patron endured, shaping the scented preferences of the French aristocracy during the Renaissance. Elizabeth I of England. Queen Elizabeth I of England, often referred to as the Virgin Queen, was not only a prominent political figure but also a discerning lover of perfumes. Her reign, known as the Elizabethan era, witnessed a flourishing of arts, literature, and culture, and Elizabeth I contributed to the cultural richness by embracing fragrances. Elizabeth I had a deep appreciation for scent, and perfumes played a significant role in her courtly rituals. The Queen was known for her fondness for floral fragrances, and she often gifted scented gloves, embroidered with floral patterns, as tokens of favor. Elizabeth I's court became a center of perfumed elegance, where fragrances were employed not only for personal adornment, but also as symbols of status and refinement. The Queen's personal collection of fragrances included scents like rose, violet, and musk. Her influence contributed to the establishment of perfumers and apothecaries who catered to the olfactory preferences of the English elite. The Elizabethan era left an enduring legacy of perfumed sophistication that continued to evolve in the following centuries. Louis XIV of France. Louis XIV, the Sun King and the longest reigning monarch in European history, ascended to the throne of France in 1643. His reign, known for its opulence, extravagance, and cultural flourishing, made a profound impact on the world of perfumery. Louis XIV's court at the Palace of Versailles became a stage for the grandeur of perfumed indulgence. The Sun King was a dedicated patron of the arts and was particularly fascinated by fragrances. His court at Versailles had its own perfumers, and the creation of scents became a form of artistry that paralleled the grandeur of the palace itself. Jean-Baptiste Grenouille, the court's official perfumer, crafted exclusive fragrances for the king and the royal courtiers. Louis XIV's love for fragrances extended beyond personal use. He employed scents as tools of diplomacy. Fragrances were exchanged as gifts between monarchs, and the Sun King used perfumed tokens to strengthen diplomatic ties and showcase the cultural refinement of his court. The court of Louis XIV contributed to the formalization of the perfumery trade in France. In 1669, the king granted a royal warrant to a perfumer named Pierre Piver, marking the establishment of the first official French perfume house. The flourishing perfumery trade in France owed much to the royal patronage and cultural influence of Louis XIV. Caterina Sforza. Caterina Sforza, an Italian noblewoman and the Countess of Foli and Imola, was a formidable and influential figure during the Renaissance. Known for her political acumen, military leadership, and cultural patronage, Caterina Sforza also left a mark on the world of perfumery. A woman of refinement and sophistication, Caterina Sforza appreciated the art of perfumery and became known for her personal fragrances. She is said to have possessed a collection of exquisite scents, reflecting her appreciation for the olfactory arts. Caterina Sforza's influence on perfumery was not limited to personal use. She also contributed to the cultural milieu of the time. As a patron of the arts, she supported poets, artists, and perfumers, fostering an environment where creativity and innovation thrived. Her legacy, both as a political figure and a connoisseur of fragrance, continues to resonate through the pages of history. René de Florentin. René de Florentin, a perfumer in the service of Catherine de' Medici, played a significant role in the evolution of perfumery during the Renaissance. Often referred to as the father of Italian perfumery, René de Florentin was brought to the French court by Catherine de' Medici, where he shared his expertise in the art of fragrance. René de Florentin's contributions to the world of perfumery included the development of innovative techniques and formulations. He is credited with introducing the use of alcohol as a solvent for extracting and preserving fragrance, a method that would later become a standard practice in perfumery. Under Catherine de' Medici's patronage, René de Florentin crafted bespoke fragrances for the Queen and the French court. His expertise and innovations influenced the perfumery practices of the time, setting the stage for the continued evolution of fragrance artistry in the following centuries. Caterina dei Medici. Caterina dei Medici, born into the illustrious Medici family of Florence, played a transformative role in the evolution of perfumery during the Renaissance. Her marriage to Henry II of France brought her to the French court, where she became a trendsetter and influential patron of the olfactory arts. Caterina dei Medici is often credited with popularizing the use of perfume in Europe. She had a profound appreciation for fragrances and sought to enhance her personal allure through the art of perfumery. The Queen's passion for scents extended to her living spaces, where she employed fragrances to create a luxurious and inviting atmosphere. Her patronage of perfumers and her own involvement in fragrance creation contributed to the burgeoning perfumery trade in France. Caterina dei Medici's influence persisted through the generations, shaping the French court's relationship with perfumery and laying the groundwork for the perfumed legacy of subsequent royal figures. 7. Giovanni Maria Farina. Giovanni Maria Farina, an Italian perfumer living in Cologne, Germany, is often credited with creating one of the most iconic and enduring fragrances in history, Eau de Cologne. Born in 1685, Giovanni. Chapter 4. The Perfumed Courts. The opulent world of European courts. Baroque and Rococo splendor. In the annals of European history, the Baroque and Rococo periods stand as epochs of unparalleled opulence, marked by grandeur, extravagance, and a profound appreciation for the finer things in life. The courts of Europe during these eras were not merely seats of political power. They were extravagant theatres of splendor, where monarchs and aristocrats competed to create the most sumptuous and visually stunning environments. From the architectural marvels of Versailles to the ornate palaces of Vienna, the Baroque and Rococo courts established an enduring legacy of luxury and refinement that extended to every facet of courtly life, including the world of fragrance. Baroque brilliance. The Baroque era, spanning the 17th century, was characterized by a desire for grandiosity, drama, and emotional intensity. The courts of Europe, seeking to manifest the glory and authority of their rulers, embraced the Baroque aesthetic with enthusiasm. Architectural marvels such as the Palace of Versailles, commissioned by Louis XIV of France, became the epitome of Baroque brilliance. The Baroque court was a stage set for magnificence. Lavish ceremonies, theatrical performances, and grand festivities were orchestrated to celebrate the power and prestige of the ruling elite. The architecture, characterized by bold ornamentation, grandiose proportions, and intricate detailing, created a visual language of excess that permeated every corner of courtly life. As the courts embraced a lifestyle of unparalleled luxury, fragrances became integral to the sensory experience. The opulent interiors were redolent with the scents of rare botanicals, exotic spices, and precious resins. Perfumers, now elevated to the status of artists, were tasked with creating fragrances that complemented the extravagant ambience of the Baroque court. Versailles, perfumed grandeur. Versailles, the crowning jewel of Baroque architecture, epitomized the grandeur of the era under the rule of Louis-XIV. The palace, surrounded by vast gardens adorned with fountains and sculptures, became a symbol of absolute monarchy and artistic splendor. Perfume, in this world of excess, played a crucial role in the courtly rituals and personal grooming of the elite. Jean-Baptiste Grenouille, the court perfumer, continued to be a central figure at Versailles. Perfumed powders, scented gloves, and fragrant sachets became essential accessories among the courtiers. The Sun King himself, renowned for his meticulous personal grooming, was a connoisseur of fragrances. The perfumed fountains of Versailles diffused aromatic mists, enveloping the court in an olfactory tapestry that enhanced the sensory extravagance of the palace. The scents of Versailles were carefully curated to evoke a sense of luxury and sophistication. Rose, jasmine, and orange blossom adorned the royal chambers, while the gardens were planted with aromatic flowers to create a harmonious blend of natural and man-made fragrances. Perfumed rituals were not confined to personal adornment. They were integrated into courtly ceremonies, becoming an integral part of the visual and olfactory spectacle. Rococo elegance. As the Baroque era gave way to the Rococo, a shift towards a more playful, ornate, and whimsical aesthetic emerged. The Rococo period, prevailing during the 18th century, was characterized by intricate detailing, asymmetry, and a celebration of grace and charm. The courts of Europe embraced the Rococo style, infusing their palaces with an air of lightness and elegance that extended to the realm of fragrance. Rococo courts, with their pastel-hued interiors and delicate ornamentation, embraced a more intimate and refined approach to courtly life. The grandiosity of the Baroque was replaced by a sense of whimsy and sophistication. Fragrances, now more nuanced and subtle, became an essential accessory in the daily lives of the courtiers. The French court of Louis-XV, often considered the epitome of Rococo elegance, continued to be a hub of perfumed refinement. The pursuit of pleasure and the cultivation of personal grace were central tenets of Rococo courtly life. Perfumes, crafted with a lighter touch, reflected the flirtatious and charming nature of the period. Scented salons and boudoirs. The Rococo court introduced the concept of intimate, perfumed spaces within the palace. Scented salons and boudoirs became private retreats adorned with delicate furnishings, silken fabrics, and an array of fragrances. Perfumed fans, pomades, and scented sachets graced the vanity tables, offering courtiers a personal sanctuary immersed in subtle and refined fragrances. The boudoir, in particular, became a space dedicated to the art of personal grooming and perfumed indulgence. Courtly ladies adorned themselves with fragrances that whispered of floral bouquets and citrusy notes. Perfumed oils, enriched with the scents of musk and amber, were applied delicately to enhance natural beauty and allure. Fragrant fashion. The Rococo court, with its emphasis on grace and charm, witnessed the emergence of fragrant fashion. The aristocracy, eager to align their attire with their olfactory preferences, sought garments infused with fragrances. Perfumed gloves, handkerchiefs, and even accessories like fans became fashionable items that complemented the courtly wardrobe. Perfumed gloves, reminiscent of earlier centuries, experienced a Rococo revival. These gloves were crafted from luxurious materials such as silk and adorned with delicate embroidery. Infused with fragrances like rose or violet, perfumed gloves became symbolic expressions of elegance and refinement. Courtly fashionistas reveled in the art of perfumed adornment, showcasing a harmonious blend of aesthetic sensibility and olfactory allure. The extravagant symphony of scents, courts of Versailles, Vienna, and beyond. In the gilded halls of European courts during the Baroque and Rococo periods, fragrance emerged as an integral element of the sensory tapestry that defined aristocratic life. From the resplendent courts of Versailles under Louis-XIV to the elegant palaces of Vienna, the extravagant use of fragrances became a symbol of refined taste, social standing, and the art of courtly indulgence. This olfactory journey through Versailles, Vienna, and beyond unveils the opulent world where scents were woven into the fabric of courtly extravagance. Versailles, a perfumed pinnacle. The Palace of Versailles, conceived by Louis XIV as a manifestation of absolute power and artistic grandeur, became a testament to the opulence of the Baroque era. In this splendid enclave, fragrance transcended the realm of personal adornment to permeate every facet of courtly life. Jean-Baptiste Grenouille, the revered court perfumer, played a pivotal role in orchestrating the olfactory symphony of Versailles. The grandiosity of the palace demanded fragrances that could match its splendor. Perfumed waters cascaded from ornate fountains, creating delicate mists that caressed the air, infusing the gardens and corridors with an ethereal aura. The gardens of Versailles, meticulously designed by André Lanotta, were a sensory masterpiece. Orange blossoms, jasmine, and roses bloomed in abundance, their intoxicating scents intermingling to create an aromatic paradise. Fragrance became an integral part of the landscape design, with carefully chosen plants and flowers contributing to the overall olfactory experience. Versailles' renowned Hall of Mirrors, the grand ballroom where courtly festivities unfolded, witnessed fragrant extravagance. Perfumed powders adorned the wigs and attire of the courtiers, adding a touch of scented elegance to the lavish galas. The Sun King himself, fastidious in matters of personal grooming, set the standard for courtly refinement by adorning his clothing with pomades infused with precious essences. Scented gloves, a Renaissance tradition revitalized during the Baroque era, became coveted accessories at Versailles. These gloves, crafted from luxurious materials and infused with fragrances like violet or iris, were not just fashion statements, but subtle expressions of courtly sophistication. The nobility reveled in the exchange of fragrant tokens, bestowing perfumed gifts upon one another as symbols of esteem and favor. Vienna, imperial elegance unveiled. As the Baroque era transitioned into the Rococo, the court of Vienna, under the reign of Empress Maria Theresa, embraced a more delicate and refined approach to fragrance. The Austrian court became a bastion of elegance, where the use of scents became an essential component of the aristocratic lifestyle. Maria Theresa, an astute and influential ruler, recognized the power of fragrance in shaping courtly etiquette. Perfumed rituals at the Viennese court were characterized by subtlety and grace. The empress, known for her love of floral scents, cultivated fragrant gardens within the Schönbrunn Palace, creating an oasis of natural perfumery. The Viennese courtier's attire was not complete without the addition of fragrant accents. Pomades, infused with delicate floral and citrus notes, adorned the coiffures of both men and women. The imperial court engaged in the art of perfumed sophistication, where even the minutest details of personal grooming were attended to with olfactory finesse. Empress Maria Theresa's personal chambers were immersed in the scents of lavender, rose, and neroli. Perfumed sachets and scented linens enhanced the ambience of the private quarters, creating an environment of tranquility and refined luxury. The empress's love for fragrances extended beyond personal indulgence. She actively encouraged the courtiers to adopt perfumed practices, contributing to the establishment of fragrant norms within the Viennese court. Scented gloves, a testament to the enduring allure of perfumed accessories, continued to captivate the courtly elite in Vienna. Courtiers exchanged gloves as tokens of affection, each pair imbued with a unique fragrance that spoke to the refined tastes of the wearer. The imperial court of Vienna, with its emphasis on elegance and grace, set the stage for the fragrant legacy that would endure through subsequent eras. Beyond Versailles and Vienna, a panorama of fragrance. As the extravagance of the Baroque and Rococo spread across Europe, other courts embraced the scented fervor with equal enthusiasm. In Spain, the court of Philip IV became a hub of olfactory indulgence. The use of fragrances extended to the theatre, where the royal box was often perfumed to enhance the sensory experience of courtly spectators. In England, the Stuart court, under Charles II, witnessed a revival of perfume traditions. The courtly elite, influenced by continental trends, incorporated fragrances into their daily routines. Perfumed gloves, scented powders, and fragrant waters became indispensable elements of courtly grooming. In the Italian courts, where the Renaissance had laid the foundations of perfumery, fragrance continued to be a cultural hallmark. The Medici family, having transcended the centuries, retained their affinity for scents. The Tuscan court, adorned with aromatic gardens and scented waters, echoed the perfumed elegance that had characterized early Renaissance courts. The courts of Germany, influenced by both French and Austrian traditions, embraced a fusion of fragrant styles. The German nobility, known for their appreciation of the arts, became patrons of local perfumers, contributing to the development of a distinctive German perfumery tradition. Crafting ephemeral elegance. The art of creating signature scents for royalty and nobility. In the illustrious courts of European royalty and nobility, the creation of signature scents became an art form, an alchemical dance that transformed aromatic essences into olfactory masterpieces. Perfumers, once confined to the shadows of apothecaries and alchemists, ascended to the status of coveted artisans. Their expertise was sought after, not merely for the creation of perfumes, but for the crafting of personalized fragrances that encapsulated the essence of individual nobility. Aromatic alchemy in the courtly chambers. The creation of a signature scent for royalty and nobility was a meticulous process, akin to crafting a symphony of notes that would resonate with the wearer's personality, style, and status. Perfumers, often appointed as courtiers, were entrusted with the delicate task of translating the nuances of an individual's character into a liquid manifestation. In the gilded chambers of Versailles, where Louis XIV held sway, the court perfumer Jean-Baptiste Grenouille became an essential figure in the courtly drama. He not only catered to the olfactory whims of the Sun King, but crafted fragrances that mirrored the grandeur of Versailles itself. The creation of a signature scent for Louis XIV was a journey into the king's preferences, moods, and the symbolic narrative he wished to convey. The process often began with an intimate consultation between the perfumer and the noble patron. Perfumers became adept at deciphering not only the olfactory preferences, but also the aspirations and sentiments of their distinguished clients. The choice of ingredients, the composition of fragrant notes, and the overall character of the scent were curated to align with the wearer's persona. Noble olfactory portraits. The creation of a signature scent was, in essence, the crafting of an olfactory portrait. Nobility sought to be remembered not only by their deeds, but by the lingering fragrance that trailed in their wake. These bespoke perfumes were not merely accessories. They were statements of identity, declarations of style, and manifestations of courtly sophistication. Courtiers, enamored by the opulence of the courts of Europe, often desired scents that echoed the grandeur of their surroundings. Perfumers, attuned to the tastes of their elite clientele, navigated the expansive world of aromatic ingredients. Rare spices, exotic florals, precious resins, and animalic notes were woven together to create fragrances that transcended the ordinary. In Vienna, under the reign of Empress Maria Theresa, the creation of personalized scents became an integral part of courtly etiquette. The Empress herself, enamored by floral fragrances, sought olfactory compositions that would evoke the beauty of her beloved gardens. Perfumers, with meticulous precision, translated the essence of nature into perfumed elixirs that adorned the Viennese court. The scents created for nobility were not mere concoctions. They were stories etched in aroma. A signature scent encapsulated the wearer's journey, from their noble lineage to their personal experiences and aspirations. Perfumers became storytellers, weaving narratives with accords and essences that spoke of the wearer's character, passions, and the very soul of their aristocratic being. Bespoke elegance. The emergence of bespoke fragrances marked a shift from generic perfumes to personalized elixirs that resonated with the wearer's unique identity. Nobility sought exclusivity, a scent that would be uniquely theirs, a fragrance that would set them apart in the crowded halls of courtly elegance. In England, the Stuart court, under the reign of Charles II, witnessed the rise of bespoke perfumery. Perfumers crafted scents that were tailored to the individual tastes and inclinations of the English aristocracy. Fragrances became an extension of one's wardrobe, a carefully chosen accessory that complemented the nuances of courtly fashion. Scented gloves, a cherished accessory in courtly circles, were often infused with bespoke fragrances. Perfumers devised unique blends that combined the aristocrat's preferred notes with the latest olfactory trends. As these gloves became symbols of social status, the creation of a bespoke fragrance took on heightened significance. The perfumer as court artisan. The art of creating signature scents elevated perfumers to the status of court artisans. No longer confined to the periphery, these olfactory maestros became integral members of the courtly entourage. Their workshops transformed into alchemical sanctuaries, where rare essences were transformed into elixirs of elegance. The court perfumer, clad in luxurious attire befitting their noble clientele, was a figure of prestige and respect. Their expertise was cultivated through years of apprenticeship and experimentation. Perfumers guarded their olfactory secrets with the same zeal that nobility guarded their political intrigues. The alchemy of elegance. The alchemy of creating signature scents went beyond the blending of aromatic oils. It delved into the mysteries of individual identity and aspiration. Perfumers embraced the challenge of translating intangible qualities into tangible aromas, a task that demanded not just technical skill, but a profound understanding of the wearer's essence. In the courts of Germany, where regional influences merged with continental trends, perfumers became adept at navigating a rich tapestry of scents. The German nobility, with their diverse preferences, sought fragrances that spoke to their heritage, whether it be the crispness of alpine air or the lushness of the Rhineland. The harmonious tapestry. Artistry of scent in fashion, etiquette, and pleasure. In the intricate dance of human experience, scent emerges as a silent yet powerful artist, weaving itself into the fabric of fashion, social etiquette, and the pursuit of pleasure. From the regal courts of Europe to the bustling streets of evolving cities, the artistry of scent has transcended its utilitarian origins, becoming an expressive medium that reflects the nuances of individuality, sophistication, and hedonistic pleasure. Scent and fashion, a captivating duet. The relationship between scent and fashion is an age-old duet, each complementing and enhancing the other in an olfactory symphony. Fragrance is not merely an accessory. It is an extension of one's personal style, an invisible thread that weaves through the tapestry of fashion, leaving a lingering trail of identity. In the grand courts of Versailles, where the regal splendor of Louis XIV set the standards of courtly elegance, fragrance was interwoven with the elaborate costumes of the aristocracy. Perfumed gloves, an emblem of refined taste, adorned the hands of courtiers, imparting an air of sophistication to their gestures. Fragrance-infused powders dusted the elaborate wigs and attire, creating a sensory spectacle that transcended the visual. The art of perfumed fashion extended beyond the courts into the heart of urban life. In the bustling streets of 18th century London, perfumed accessories became essential elements of fashionable attire. Scented handkerchiefs, crafted from luxurious fabrics and infused with delicate fragrances, were fashionable accessories that not only served practical purposes but also showcased the wearer's adherence to the latest olfactory trends. The 19th century witnessed the dawn of haute couture in Paris, and alongside the innovations in fashion, perfumery underwent a renaissance. Perfumers collaborated with fashion houses, creating fragrances that were inspired by the couturier's creations. The link between fashion and scent became more explicit as iconic perfumes were born to capture the spirit of designer brands. Scented etiquette, the olfactory language of politeness. Social etiquette, a delicate choreography of manners and norms, found an unexpected ally in the art of scent. Fragrance, with its ability to communicate without words, became an unspoken language of politeness, a fragrant code that dictated appropriate behavior and refined interactions. In the courts of Empress Maria Theresa in Vienna, the nobility embraced scented etiquette as an integral part of their social rituals. Perfumed fans, delicately scented with floral and citrus notes, became fashionable accessories that served both practical and symbolic purposes. The subtle wave of a scented fan conveyed a message of sophistication, while also warding off the occasional unpleasant odors of crowded ballrooms. Scented gloves, infused with fragrant oils, became tokens of refined courtesy in the salons of 19th century Europe. When presented to a lady, a scented glove was not merely a gesture of gallantry, it was a subtle invitation to indulge in the pleasurable world of fragrance. The exchange of fragrant accessories became a social ritual, a dance of scented pleasantries that transcended spoken language. The Victorian era in England, known for its strict adherence to societal norms, witnessed the rise of fragrant etiquette. Perfumed calling cards, delicately scented with floral bouquets, became an elegant means of leaving one's olfactory signature. The exchange of these scented cards added a layer of sophistication to social introductions, creating a fragrant dialogue that spoke of grace and refinement. Pursuit of pleasure, a hedonistic olfactory odyssey. In the pursuit of pleasure, the artistry of scent takes center stage, transforming the mundane into the extraordinary and the ordinary into the sublime. Pleasure-seeking, whether in the lavish courts or the vibrant cities, found its sensory counterpart in the alluring world of fragrances. The court of Louis XIV at Versailles, a hotbed of hedonistic indulgence, set the stage for the pursuit of pleasure through scent. Perfumed soirees, where courtiers bathed in fragrant waters and adorned themselves with scented oils, became opulent celebrations of the senses. The pursuit of pleasure extended beyond the physical, immersing the court in an intoxicating atmosphere of scent-driven delight. In the sultry streets of 19th-century Paris, fragrance houses flourished, catering to the burgeoning desire for olfactory indulgence. The cabarets of Montmartre, where artists and bohemians sought respite from societal constraints, became havens of hedonistic pleasure. The scent of absinthe, intertwined with tobacco and musk, wafted through these establishments, creating an aromatic tapestry that echoed the pursuit of unconventional pleasures. The Roaring Twenties, a decade of liberation and rebellion, witnessed a hedonistic explosion of scents. Jazz clubs, speakeasies, and clandestine parties became stages for the pursuit of pleasure through fragrance. Iconic perfumes like Chanel No. 5, with its avant-garde blend of aldehydes and florals, captured the spirit of the eerie scent that embodied the thrill of liberation and the pursuit of pleasure on one's own terms. The artisanal revolution, perfumers as visionaries. As the 20th century unfolded, a paradigm shift occurred, elevating perfumers from mere artisans to visionaries. The artisanal revolution in perfumery brought forth a new era where creativity, innovation, and individual expression took precedence over mass-produced conformity. Perfumers, no longer confined to the whims of nobility, embarked on a journey of self-expression and artistic exploration. In the latter half of the 20th century, the emergence of niche perfumery marked a departure from mainstream trends. Independent perfumers, driven by a passion for storytelling through scent, created fragrances that challenged conventions and celebrated individuality. These artisans. Chapter 5. From Revolution to Evolution. Scented winds of change. Fragrance evolution. Amidst the French and Industrial Revolutions, the late 18th and 19th centuries were epochs of profound societal transformation in Europe, marked by the tumultuous waves of the French Revolution and the seismic shifts brought by the Industrial Revolution. Amidst the chaos, upheaval, and innovation, the world of fragrance underwent its own evolution, a journey that mirrored the changing landscapes of politics, industry, and culture. French Revolution, fragrance in the shadow of turmoil. The French Revolution, an epochal rupture that reshaped the political and social landscape of France, also cast its shadow over the realm of fragrance. The opulence of the Ancien regime, with its decadent courtly perfumes, collided with the revolutionary ethos that sought to dismantle the aristocratic excesses. The guillotine's blade fell, not just on heads, but on the scented traditions of the Bourbon court. The grandeur of Versailles, once permeated with the aromas of luxurious perfumes, gave way to a more austere and egalitarian olfactory atmosphere. Perfumers, who had once thrived in the service of nobility, found themselves navigating a new reality where luxury was viewed with suspicion. The French Revolution championed the principles of liberté, égalité, and fraternité, but it also brought forth an era where simplicity and naturalism were revered. As the elaborate courtly fragrances waned in popularity, a preference for more straightforward scents emerged. The revolutionary fervor extended to personal grooming, with citizens embracing scents derived from natural ingredients like lavender, rosemary, and citrus. While the revolutionary ideals sought to eliminate the remnants of aristocratic excess, they inadvertently birthed a new concept of democratic fragrance. Scent, once confined to the upper echelons of society, became more accessible to the masses. Perfumers, adapting to the changing winds, began to cater to a broader clientele, offering scents that resonated with the egalitarian spirit of the times. Innovation and industrious aromas. The Industrial Revolution's impact on perfumery. As Europe grappled with social and economic upheaval, the Industrial Revolution emerged as a force that would reshape not only the means of production, but also the very essence of fragrance. The transition from agrarian economies to industrialized landscapes brought about radical changes in the way perfumes were created, consumed, and distributed. The Industrial Revolution, characterized by technological advancements, mass production, and urbanization, left an indelible mark on the fragrance industry. Prior to this period, perfumery was a craft dominated by skilled artisans who concocted fragrances in limited quantities. However, the advent of chemical synthesis and improved extraction methods ushered in an era of mass-produced scents. Synthetic fragrances, a hallmark of the Industrial Revolution, revolutionized the perfumery landscape. Previously, natural ingredients like flowers, spices, and resins had been the primary sources of fragrance. Now, chemists could replicate these scents in laboratories, paving the way for an unprecedented diversity of aromas. The introduction of synthetic musks, vanillin, and aldehydes expanded the perfumer's palette, allowing for the creation of scents that were both novel and affordable. While synthetic ingredients democratized fragrance by making it more accessible, it also sparked debates about authenticity and the loss of natural essence. The traditional craftsmanship of perfumery faced a challenge from the efficiency and cost-effectiveness of synthetic alternatives. Nevertheless, the Industrial Revolution, with its relentless march of progress, propelled the fragrance industry into a new era of innovation and exploration. Changing tides of perfume consumption, from elegance to everyday luxury. The evolution of European fragrance during these revolutions was not merely confined to the ingredients and methods of production. It extended to the very ethos of perfume consumption. Perfume, once an emblem of aristocratic elegance, became intertwined with the daily lives of a broader spectrum of society. In the wake of the French Revolution, the concept of Guerlain, a renowned French perfume house, came to symbolize this shift. Established in 1828, Guerlain adapted to the changing social landscape by creating perfumes that catered to the evolving tastes of the middle class. Their iconic fragrance, Eau de Cologne Imperiale, was created for Empress Eugenie, but its success transcended courtly circles, becoming a staple of everyday luxury for a growing urban bourgeoisie. The Industrial Revolution accelerated the democratization of fragrance. As urban centers expanded and the middle class burgeoned, the demand for scents that were both affordable and stylish surged. Perfumes were no longer exclusive to the elite. They became accessible to a wider audience. The burgeoning department stores of the 19th century, with their elaborate perfume counters, made fragrances a commodity that could be experienced and acquired by a diverse clientele. Innovators and icons. Navigating the olfactory frontier. In the midst of societal upheavals and industrial progress, certain perfumers and fragrance houses emerged as trailblazers, navigating the olfactory frontier and leaving an indelible mark on the evolution of European fragrance. One such luminary was François Coty, a visionary perfumer of the early 20th century. Coty's brilliance lay not only in his olfactory compositions, but also in his understanding of marketing and branding. He pioneered the concept of creating affordable luxury with his line of accessible yet sophisticated perfumes, challenging the notion that elegance was exclusive to the aristocracy. The creation of Chypre, a groundbreaking fragrance category introduced by Coty, further exemplified the innovative spirit of the time. Chypre scents, characterized by a harmonious blend of citrus, labdanum, and oak moss, departed from the floral dominance of previous eras. This genre-defying creation set the stage for future perfumers to experiment with novel olfactory compositions. The olfactory legacy, a fragrant tapestry unfolding. The fragrant tapestry of European evolution during the French and Industrial Revolutions reflects a journey of adaptation, innovation, and democratization. From the lofty halls of Versailles to the bustling urban centers of industrialized Europe, fragrance weathered the storms of societal change, emerging as a dynamic art form that resonates with the spirit of each era. The French Revolution, with its call for liberty and equality, ushered in an era where fragrance became an expression of personal identity for a broader populace. The Industrial Revolution, with its synthesis of scents and mass production, transformed perfume from an exclusive luxury into a daily indulgence for the growing middle class. The legacies of this fragrant evolution endure in the scents we encounter today. Whether we revel in the opulence of historical perfumes or embrace the modern olfactory landscape shaped by synthetic innovations, The echoes of those transformative periods persist in every spritz of fragrance, a reminder of the ever-evolving dance between societal shifts and the artistry of scent. Whiffs of transformation, societal changes and the perfume industry evolution. The winds of societal change have long blown through the corridors of history, carrying with them the fragrant echoes of transformation within the perfume industry. From the fading opulence of courtly perfumery to the rise of commercial production, the evolution of fragrance mirrors the shifting tides of society, capturing the essence of cultural shifts, economic revolutions, and the democratization of luxury. Courtly perfumery's diminuendo. Once the undisputed epicenter of olfactory elegance, courtly perfumery experienced a gradual decline, its once pervasive aroma fading in the face of societal upheavals. The traditional courts, bastions of aristocratic refinement, saw their influence wane as Europe transitioned into a new era marked by revolutions, enlightenment, and changing power dynamics. The French Revolution, with its fervor for liberty and disdain for aristocratic excess, dealt a decisive blow to the opulence of courtly perfumery. The grandeur of Versailles, where perfumes had once been an integral part of courtly rituals, crumbled under the weight of revolutionary ideals. Perfumers who had once catered exclusively to the nobility found themselves navigating uncharted territories as traditional patronage vanished. The democratization of society, a key tenet of the revolutionary spirit, ushered in an era where exclusivity gave way to accessibility. Perfume, once a symbol of aristocratic privilege, became a commodity sought after by a broader spectrum of society. The decline of courtly perfumery was not merely a fading of fragrant traditions. It was a seismic shift that heralded a new era where the art of scent would be shaped by the desires and tastes of the masses. Birth of commercial production, crafting scents for the masses. The rise of commercial production marked a paradigm shift that democratized fragrance, making it an everyday luxury accessible to a burgeoning middle class. As the Industrial Revolution unfolded, transforming economies and urban landscapes, the perfume industry adapted to new modes of production, distribution, and consumption. In the mid-19th century, Grasse in France, already renowned for its flower fields, became a focal point for the perfume industry. The advent of chemical synthesis allowed for the mass production of fragrance components, paving the way for perfumers to create scents on an unprecedented scale. The rise of synthetic ingredients and improved extraction methods broadened the perfumer's palette, offering a diverse range of aromas that could be replicated consistently. The perfume industry, once reliant on the artistry of skilled artisans, embraced efficiency and scalability. Instead of bespoke creations for individual patrons, perfumers now crafted scents that could be produced in larger quantities. The emergence of iconic fragrances like Chanel No. 5, a symbol of modernity and sophistication, exemplified the commercial success achievable through mass production. Packaging and branding, the olfactory power of marketing. With the shift towards commercial production came a newfound emphasis on packaging and branding. Perfume transformed not only in terms of its composition, but also in how it was presented to consumers. The concept of the perfume house, with its distinct brand identity, gained prominence as marketing became an integral aspect of the industry. Perfume houses like Guerlain and Chanel became pioneers in crafting brand narratives around their scents. The allure of the perfume extended beyond the olfactory experience. It became a symbol of lifestyle, aspiration, and identity. The art of storytelling merged seamlessly with the art of perfumery, creating a potent combination that resonated with consumers. Bottle design became a crucial aspect of the marketing strategy, turning perfume into a visual and tactile experience. Iconic bottles, often as recognizable as the scents themselves, became status symbols and collector's items. The transformation of perfume into a packaged luxury product underscored its shift from a craft rooted in tradition to a dynamic industry shaped by consumer culture. Cultural shifts and evolving tastes. The fragrance zeitgeist. Societal changes, cultural movements, and evolving tastes have consistently left their imprint on the fragrance industry. The Roaring Twenties, a period of liberation and flamboyance, witnessed the emergence of bold and unconventional scents. Fragrances like Shalimar and Joy, characterized by intense floral and oriental notes, captured the zeitgeist of an era marked by social and cultural upheaval. The post-war era brought with it a desire for simplicity and cleanliness, reflected in the rise of fresh, citrusy scents. The marketing of perfumes increasingly focused on evoking emotions and memories, tapping into the psychological aspects of fragrance consumption. Perfume became a means of personal expression, an olfactory accessory that could evoke specific moods or enhance one's identity. The late 20th century witnessed a resurgence of niche and artisanal perfumery, a reaction to the uniformity of mass-produced scents. Perfumers sought to reclaim the artistry of fragrance, creating unique compositions that catered to individuals seeking distinctive olfactory experiences. This movement paralleled broader trends in the consumer landscape, where a desire for authenticity and uniqueness began to shape purchasing decisions. Globalization and diverse influences. A fragrant kaleidoscope. As the perfume industry evolved, globalization played a pivotal role in shaping the diversity of fragrances. Traditional perfume-making regions like France were joined by emerging centers in the Middle East, Asia, and the Americas. Cultural influences from around the world began to intertwine, creating a fragrant kaleidoscope that celebrated the richness of global olfactory traditions. The Middle East, with its rich history of perfumery, brought ingredients like oud and attar to the forefront of the international fragrance scene. Western perfumers began incorporating these exotic elements, adding new dimensions to their creations. The global exchange of ideas, ingredients, and techniques further enriched the perfume industry, allowing for the creation of scents that transcended geographical boundaries. Sustainability and conscious perfumery, a fragrant future. In the 21st century, the perfume industry finds itself at the crossroads of sustainability and conscious consumerism. With increasing awareness of environmental impact and ethical considerations, consumers are demanding transparency in the sourcing of ingredients and production processes. Perfumers are responding by embracing sustainable practices, from responsibly sourcing raw materials to using eco-friendly packaging. Natural and organic perfumery is experiencing a resurgence, catering to consumers seeking fragrances that align with their values. The narrative around perfumery is evolving, with emphasis shifting towards craftsmanship, authenticity, and environmental responsibility. As the perfume industry continues to navigate the currents of societal change, it remains a dynamic reflection of the times. From the decline of courtly perfumery to the rise of commercial production, and now towards sustainable and conscious practices, fragrance continues to be a cultural barometer and olfactory chronicle of our collective journey through the scented corridors of history. Scented revolutions, innovations in 19th and 20th century European perfumery. The 19th and 20th centuries ushered in an era of unprecedented innovation in European perfumery, a fragrant odyssey that witnessed the birth of iconic scents, the mastery of synthetic ingredients, and the transformation of fragrance into an art form that transcends time and tradition. From the grandeur of Belle Epoque Paris to the avant-garde spirit of the 20th century, the olfactory landscape evolved, shaped by the visionary perfumers and groundbreaking advancements that continue to define the diverse and dynamic world of European perfumery today. The birth of icons, Chanel No. 5 and Shalimar. The 20th century opened with an olfactory revolution that forever changed the landscape of European perfumery. In 1921, Gabrielle Coco Chanel unveiled Chanel No. 5, a fragrance that would become a timeless icon, transcending the boundaries of fashion and fragrance. Created by perfumer Ernest Beau, Chanel No. 5 marked a departure from the dominant floral scents of the time, introducing a harmonious blend of aldehydes, florals, and musk. Chanel No. 5 was a trailblazer in many ways. It was one of the first fragrances to feature synthetic components, including aldehydes, which imparted a sparkling and effervescent quality to the scent. This departure from natural ingredients revolutionized the perfume industry, opening the door to a new era of creativity and experimentation. Simultaneously, in 1925, the House of Guerlain introduced Shalimar, another monumental creation that embodied the opulence of the Roaring Twenties. Perfumer Jacques Guerlain crafted a composition that blended oriental and floral notes with a prominent use of vanillin. Shalimar, with its sensual and exotic allure, became an instant classic, setting the stage for the exploration of bold and unconventional fragrances. Synthetic revolution, aldehydes and beyond. The mid-20th century witnessed a surge in the use of synthetic ingredients, a movement that not only expanded the perfumer's toolkit, but also shaped the very essence of European perfumery. Aldehydes, a group of synthetic compounds, gained prominence with their introduction in Chanel No. 5, forever altering the trajectory of fragrance creation. Aldehydes provided perfumers with a versatile and stable component that could replicate the scents of flowers, fruits, and even metals. This breakthrough allowed for the development of complex and enduring fragrances, laying the foundation for the modern perfumery we know today. The use of synthetic ingredients not only facilitated consistency in scent, but also democratized the production of perfumes, making them more accessible to a wider audience. The 1950s saw the rise of iconic fragrances that showcased the prowess of aldehydes. Dyer's Mistior, a creation by perfumer Jean Coles, embraced these synthetic elements to achieve a crisp and radiant floral bouquet. The era was marked by the emergence of other classics like Youth-Do by Estée Lauder, where aldehydes were blended with rich oriental accords, adding a layer of sophistication to the fragrance. Niche perfumery and artistic expression. As the 20th century progressed, a counter-movement emerged against the standardized scents produced by major perfume houses. Niche perfumery, characterized by smaller-scale production and an emphasis on artistic expression, began to gain momentum. Perfumers sought to break away from commercial norms and explore unique olfactory narratives. In 1973, L'Artisan Parfumeur, one of the pioneers of niche perfumery, was founded by Jean Lapotte. The house focused on crafting distinctive and unconventional fragrances, embracing the creative freedom afforded by smaller-scale production. This marked a paradigm shift, where perfumers could push the boundaries of traditional scent profiles and experiment with avant-garde compositions. Serge Lutens, a visionary perfumer and photographer, also played a pivotal role in reshaping the landscape of niche perfumery. His collaboration with Shiseido in the 1980s resulted in groundbreaking fragrances like Feminite du Bois, a woody oriental scent that challenged conventional gender norms. Lutens's work emphasized the importance of narrative and emotion in perfume creation, setting the stage for a more intimate and personal approach to fragrance. The olfactory palette expands: oriental, gourmand, and aquatic fragrances. The latter half of the 20th century and the beginning of the 21st century witnessed an explosion of olfactory creativity. Perfumers, inspired by a desire to cater to diverse tastes, began to explore new fragrance families and unconventional accords. The Oriental fragrance family, characterized by warm and exotic notes, gained prominence with creations like Opium by Yves Saint Laurent in 1977. Perfumer Jean-Louis Ciuzac blended spicy, floral, and resinous elements, creating a bold and sensuous scent that captivated the era's zeitgeist. The concept of gourmand fragrances, which evoke the olfactory experience of food, also emerged as a popular trend. Thierry Mugler's Angel, introduced in 1992, was a pioneering gourmand fragrance featuring notes of chocolate, vanilla, and caramel. Angel became a cultural phenomenon, influencing a new generation of perfumers to experiment with edible accords. The late 20th century also witnessed the advent of aquatic fragrances, inspired by the clean and refreshing scents associated with the sea. Davidoff's Cool Water, introduced in 1988 by perfumer Pierre Bourdon, revolutionized the men's fragrance market with its oceanic notes. This marked a departure from the traditional aromatic and woody scents, introducing a new olfactory category that reflected a desire for freshness and vitality. Technological advancements and molecular perfumery. In the 21st century, technology has become an integral part of perfume creation, offering perfumers innovative tools and techniques to explore the olfactory realm. Molecular perfumery, enabled by advancements in analytical chemistry, allows for a more precise understanding of individual aroma compounds and their interactions. The use of headspace technology, pioneered by chemist Roman Kaiser, revolutionized the extraction of scent molecules directly from living plants. This technique enabled perfumers to capture the true essence of natural ingredients, leading to more authentic and nuanced fragrances. Molecular perfumery also facilitated the creation of captive molecules, synthetic compounds designed to replicate specific scents, further expanding the perfumer's creative possibilities. Green and sustainable perfumery, towards a fragrant future. As environmental consciousness grows, the perfume industry is experiencing a shift towards sustainability and green practices. Perfumers are exploring eco-friendly sourcing of raw materials, adopting ethical extraction methods, and embracing recyclable packaging. This movement towards sustainability aligns with the evolving consumer preferences for products that are not only sensorially appealing but also environmentally responsible. In recent years, the demand for transparent labeling and cruelty-free practices has reshaped the industry. Brands like Le Labo and Byredo have embraced the ethos of sustainability, offering fragrances that resonate with socially conscious consumers. The growing emphasis on natural and organic ingredients reflects a collective desire for fragrances that harmonize with both personal well-being and the health of the planet.